South Korea, the land of perfect dramas, K-pop, cutting-edge technology, and big cities. It seems like there are no problems in this country, but as we know, nothing is perfect, and right in the middle of all this modernity, in Gangnam, there is a slum right next to it, easily visible from its luxurious buildings. And this is not a metaphor or exaggeration. I'm talking about wooden shacks without basic sanitation, with elderly people living on the margins, just a few meters from so much wealth. This probably doesn't appear in dramas, but today I'm going to show you what they don't want you to see. Today I'm going to show you a sadder, forgotten side of Korea, a side where people are left behind by their own government. You've definitely heard of Gangnam, whether from the global hit Gangnam Style or the flawless scenes from K-dramas. This is the neighborhood where South Korea's elite lives. Here, 1 square meter is worth more than most people earn in a lifetime. Everything shines, everything impresses. But what if I told you that just across the street, there's a place where none of that matters? On the other side, wooden and tarp houses, pothole-ridden roads that turn to mud in the rain, and entire families surviving in conditions forgotten by time. This is where the shacks of Guryong are, the last slum of Gangnam. Around the world, slums have formed for many reasons. But how is it possible for a slum to exist in the heart of the richest neighborhood in South Korea? The answer lies in the past, more precisely in 1988, the year of the Seoul Olympics. At that time, South Korea was at a turning point. The country wanted to show the world it had moved beyond war, poverty, and dictatorship, and nothing symbolized that rebirth better than hosting the Olympic Games. The government launched an accelerated modernization project. New buildings, wide avenues, everything needed to look perfect. There was just one problem: the people who already lived there. Thousands of low-income families were forcibly removed. No notice, no negotiation, no alternatives. Their homes were torn down overnight. The goal was to clean up the city's appearance like sweeping dirt under the rug. But these people didn't disappear. Evicted and with nowhere to go, they regrouped in a forgotten piece of land on the outskirts of Gangnam. And there, amid the rubble of the Olympic promise, Guryong was born, built from what was left: old boards, cracked tiles, plastic tied with wire. What was meant to be temporary shelter became permanent housing, while Seoul grew around it with its skyscrapers and LED signs. Guryong remained the same, an urban scar forgotten in the middle of luxury. Today, Guryong is more than a symbol of poverty. It's a constant and uncomfortable reminder that progress can exclude. That behind the facade of modernity are stories no one wants to tell. Seoul's growth brought incredible gains to the country, but it also left behind a trail of exclusion. Entire layers of society were pushed to the invisible corners of the map, and Guryong is, to this day, the most brutal portrait of that exclusion. It's like an open wound in the middle of luxury, a harsh reminder that not everyone boarded the train of development, and how the government discards its people. And the most shocking part, Guryong is still there, in 2025, worn down, yes, but still standing. Promises have come and gone. The government has spoken of resettlement, of reconstruction, of dignity, but in practice, nothing has changed. Guryong's land has become the center of a dispute. On one side, public and private interests wanting to turn the area into a new luxury real estate hub. On the other, the residents who, despite facing cold, heat, and lack of sanitation, refuse to leave the only place they can call home. It's a painful reality. While one part of the city shines, the other remains in the shadows. And this raises a question we can't ignore. How is it possible to live under these conditions in the center of one of the most expensive cities in Asia? Now that you know the origin of Guryong and understand how its residents were left behind, it's time to go further and understand the contrast of modern life. It's estimated that between 2,500 and 4,000 people live in this small patch but no one knows for sure. There's never been an official census. There's never been a real interest in counting these lives. Most of the residents are elderly, people who worked their whole lives but now live forgotten, isolated, fighting every day to survive, not for luxury or comfort, but for the basics. Food, shelter, warmth. Now imagine living like that at 70 or 80 years old. No heating, no assistance, no guarantee of survival. They don't have the luxury of thinking about retirement or how to enjoy their final years in peace like in other neighborhoods. While many seniors elsewhere in Seoul plan vacations, relax in comfortable homes, or receive stable pensions, the elderly in Guryong face dilemmas like, will my house withstand the next summer or winter? And by house, understand makeshift, fragile structures made with whatever's available. Plastic, tarps, metal scraps, wooden remnants, anything that can form four walls, or at least something that looks like it. Some of these homes are just 16 mautis, smaller than a tiny bedroom, and the worst part, many of the materials are flammable. This makes fires a constant threat. It's no exaggeration. There have been real tragedies like in 2010 and 2014 when fires spread rapidly, destroying dozens of homes and leaving many with nothing. Now imagine living like this. In summer, the heat suffocates. The shacks turn into ovens of metal and plastic. In winter, the cold pierces through cracked walls, icy floors, and leaky roofs. No insulation, no safety, no dignity, and who suffers the most? The elderly, fragile bodies in collapsing homes, tired souls in a society that's turned its back. Most residents don't have stable jobs. Many live off small gigs, recycling, or donations. When they receive help, it usually comes from NGOs or community groups because from the government, almost nothing arrives. No census, no data, no name, no number. These people don't officially exist, and those who don't exist on paper don't exist in public policy. Guryong is, in practice, a no man's land. No statistics, no budget, no plan, and while all this happens just meters away, Gangnam continues on. With its luxury cafes, futuristic malls, and million-dollar apartments, a world where everything shines except the truth. And the question remains, how long will these people keep living between fire and forgetfulness? South Korea is, without a doubt, a model of progress and technological advancement, but behind the skyscrapers, the K-pop, and the perfect dramas, there's a reality that almost no one sees. Guryong is not just a slum, it's a symbol, a reminder that progress without empathy leaves deep scars. While Gangnam shines with neon and ostentation just across the road, people fight every day for dignity, for warmth in the winter, for not being forgotten. And maybe right now you're wondering, but what about the government? Do they just ignore this situation? That's a fair question. And the answer isn't simple, because yes, the government knows about Guryong. Over the years, there have been many promises, plans, and official announcements to solve the issue. It's as if the country, in trying to show a perfect image to the world, constantly sweeps under the rug anything that doesn't fit that narrative. And Guryong unfortunately has become one of those problems. Since 2011, plans have been made to relocate the residents. One proposal promised to transform the area, offering decent housing, basic infrastructure, and hope. On paper, a dream. In reality, broken promises. Time passed, and in 2015, a new plan was launched to demolish Guryong entirely and build subsidized housing for its residents. On paper, a dream. In practice, more disappointment. Government action has been slow, disorganized, and frustrating. Each new plan rekindles hope, only to turn into another letdown. And for those who live there, the idea of relocation is a double-edged sword. Will they really give me a home, or do they just want me gone? The doubt is painful. Trusting the government has become difficult. As time goes by, Guryong decays. The houses weaken. The residents' health deteriorates. The cold, the heat, the insecurity all get worse. And still, there's no definitive solution in sight. But you know what really moves the government to act. When it acts, it's not compassion, it's not social justice, it's image. Because keeping a slum like Guryong in the heart of Gangnam, right next to million-dollar towers, hurts the story that Korea wants to tell the world. The story of a modern, prosperous, perfect country. But if you look a little closer, you'll see that behind Gangnam's glow, there's a muffled cry, a cruel reminder that progress sometimes leaves people behind. Guryong is not just a cluster of shacks hidden in the heart of Gangnam. It's a painful reflection of contradictions that many prefer to ignore. It's proof that a country's success can't be measured only by its buildings, technology, or economic growth. True progress is revealed in how a nation treats its most vulnerable, and whether it includes them. South Korea is indeed a global example in many areas, but it also carries open wounds that cannot be ignored. Is development really worth it if part of the population is left behind? Leave a comment with your thoughts, or if you've visited Seoul or plan to. If you want more videos like this, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with someone who should know this story.